Well, I think the most important thing, funny enough, is, and maybe that was always the case, is living the space. I think is really understanding what's going on in the world. I mean, could you imagine a person who had never had a television and who'd only ever listened to the radio, either trying to create a TV commercial, or maybe even worse, trying to tell someone who was looking at TV commercials how best to create a TV commercial? Right now, this is happening in businesses across the world. There's a generation of senior management who don't really understand what's going on in digital, telling a group of digital natives how they should be developing e-com platforms or whatever, because they feel they should because they're senior. And they feel they have a good grasp because they've read something in The Economist or in the Financial Times, etc. I'm being rather unfair to make the point. But the point being is I think wherever you are in the organization, you've really got to throw yourselves into what's going on and live the space. And just reading it from a book or sort of using management skills to try and get others to do it, I don't think is going to be good enough. And I often say to our marketers, if you don't want to be a great marketer, i.e. you don't want to be a great digital marketer, now's a good time to get another career, because it's only going to get more difficult. And often in businesses, the people who are in their late 30s and early 40s are the lost generation. So we have the younger people who are digital natives, then you have people like myself with a 25-year-old, a 23-year-old and a 20-year-old as children. And if I didn't know how to do Snapchat, I wouldn't be able to engage with my daughter. And so I've been brought into the digital world over the last 5, 7, 8 years or whatever, because my children were very much there. The difficulty if you're in your sort of late 30s, early 40s, you probably haven't got children who are old enough to harangue you into this. And you're squashed between, I think, 2 generations either side. Now, of course, this will work through. But I think the most important thing is about building capabilities and starting really selfishly with yourself. I threw myself into Twitter and posting on Facebook and on LinkedIn, not necessarily because I had any particular passion at the beginning. I'm now, of course, completely hooked. But not because I had any passion at the beginning, but because I believed that if I didn't, I wouldn't understand the dynamics that were going on. And I know we're all so terribly, terribly busy. I often say, when we're thinking about building capabilities, that we're all so busy chopping down trees, we don't have time to sharpen the axe. And I think we just need to pause every so often. And actually, sort of training and capability is cool. It's not bad. It's cool, and it's all part of making you, a better marketer. And could you imagine a load of American footballers getting up there and giving it their best on the day, having sort of sat around on a sofa watching television and eating potato chips because they didn't want to train? Training in sport is seen as a critical part of winning. Coaching in sport is seen as a critical part of winning. But so often you see in business that people don't go to training courses because they're too busy. Too busy doing what? Too busy doing emails and going to meetings and being important, And after a certain seniority, you don't need training any longer because you know it all. By God, you know it all. Look how important you are. And I think, at all levels of business, we have to accept the world is changing fast, and we all have to commit to capability building. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've done a day of learning about coding, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just to try and get a feel for these things. And it's not if you don't believe in it, it's more than you need to believe in it, but then you need to act on it as well. And I think that's a big challenge in this changing world.